Hey guys, welcome to Channel 2S, your home for Gunpla news, reviews, and more. I'm your host, Second Soundwave. Let's talk Shizuoka Hobby Show. So last night, I did a special live episode of Gunpla News with my friends Dan the Plastic Man and Shoki Reviews, and we looked at all the new stuff they revealed that night. And it was pretty awesome, pretty fun time, so go check that out if you haven't seen it already. However, in the 24 hours since that stream, we've actually seen a few new things pop up, so I'm going to talk about those right now. The first thing that I want to live stream, however, we just kind of missed it in the swarm of other pictures, and that is the Gundam Local Type North American Dispatch colors. Now, this is a black and orange version, or looks more like actually kind of a dark brown and orange. Very interesting color scheme, very sort of Gundam Real Type color-esque. This is a recolor of the Local Type. It's from Doan's Island, which is a sort of side story to Gundam The Origin. This thing looks pretty cool, and as you can tell, obviously, by the fact that it's just pretty much a straight recolor of the Local Type with a new backpack, this is Premium Bandai. I don't think anyone's surprised. And also, it's going to be an October release, so we have quite a while before this guy comes out. Now, next, I'd like to talk about the Hammurabi modification we discussed during the stream. Now, at that time, we really didn't know much about it at all. This one picture here was really all we had to go off of. However, today I was able to find a picture of this guy in his flight mode, which is, well, it's basically the Hammurabi's flight mode. It's still kind of derpy looking, and all they really changed was the wings and a few other sections. And the most important thing I actually have to say about this tonight is that it's going to be a Premium Bandai kit. Also, it's called the Hammurabi Suban. I can't think of what Suban means off the top of my head, but I'm sure it means something in Japanese, and this is also going to be an August release. Next, we have something that I've actually been kind of waiting for a long time, not so much out of an actual desire to get it, but more just because I was kind of surprised they hadn't made it at this point. But this is the Master Grade RX-78 3.0 Casval Gundam version. Now, this is basically a Char custom Gundam. It's the Gundam in Char's classic red and pink colors. And we got one of these as a recolor of the 1.5 Gundam way back in the late 90s, but finally, we're getting another one of these. I guess this looks kind of cool. It's an interesting little recolor, and of course, being the obscure model that it is, this is going to be a Premium Bandai exclusive coming out in August. Now, if you remember back to the Hobby Show live stream yesterday, I did mention that there was a kind of display up where they had a bunch of those MSV Zaku recolors, and then in the bottom right corner, they had kind of a silhouette with new kit coming soon or whatever written over it. Well, they have revealed that new kit, and it is Masai's Zaku. Masaya. I'm just going to say Masaya for now, since I'm not exactly sure how you pronounce this guy's name. And it's basically just a brown and tan Zaku high mobility type. This is like the 14th different high mobility Zaku we've gotten. Obviously, this is Premium Bandai, as almost all of them have been. And I guess it's kind of cool. Certainly not something I'm picking up, though. I've never really been a fan of all the Zaku recolors we've gotten. So that's all the stuff they've actually shown off at the conventions. However, we've gotten some new official images, like just the standard Bandai stock photos, and I want to talk about those for a bit, because there's actually some cool stuff in some of these. So, first off, we have the Ninpulse Gundam. Now, I showed a few of these pictures in the stream. I showed you how he has like this kind of cloak thing that turns into a throwing star. And I guess that's pretty cool, but also I found this picture of his main weapons, which are these kind of fold-out knife, pterodactyl, axe combination things. They honestly look like some kind of Power Ranger weapon more than anything, and I think they look a little silly. Of course, I'm not exactly sure how these work, since I haven't seen him actually holding them, but I guess they could be a pretty cool weapon once everything's all together, depending on how they're integrated into the design. Next up, we have a close-up of the knives for the Ifrit Schneid. Now, there's been a lot of unclarity lately as to whether or not these are going to be, single-piece, multicolored, or what, and it's still kind of unclear, to be perfectly honest. We see two of them up close right here, but there's no real indication as to whether or not these have been painted. They certainly look like they've been painted, and it also looks like the orange one is not translucent, which is making me think that it might just be a black piece. I think it does look painted, at least the purple part in the middle does. I can't really tell much about the rest of it. Certainly looks like it's one piece of plastic, so yeah, either that's going to require a lot of painting, or it's going to have a sticker, or it's going to have two stickers, or it's going to have two stickers that you should really paint over anyways, because the Ifrit Schneid all lined up, so you can see just how many of these freaking things he comes with. Now, next up, I want to talk about the official images for the high-resolution model Wing Zero, because this thing still looks freaking good. Now, these are kind of CG renders. These aren't pictures of an actual physical prototype like we saw at the convention, but it's still looking really awesome. I love how this guy's wings look. I love all the different colors of plastic they chose for it. It looks like it's going to be really cool. and I can't wait for this thing to come out, even if it will be a rather hefty 14,000 yen. Also, we have a picture of the inner frame right here. It's not quite as pretty to look at as the inner, kind of designed to look good on its own, since you see it stripped down quite a lot in the show, whereas the Wing Zero's frame never really gets a lot of attention. So I get why this doesn't look quite as fancy, but it's that big a deal. Now next, we have another CG render image for the Real Grade Unicorn Gundam. We can see it in both modes here, and looking at these pictures here, I kind of think make them easier to transform. Like, his shoulder pads look like they're almost as big as his chest, which is kind of understandable since they got to fit a lot of moving parts into that thing. And it looks like some other parts around his body have been kind of blown up or shrunken down to kind of help accommodate the transformation elements of him, which I guess is kind of... We're moving on to the last thing I have to show you guys tonight, and this is something that popped up right at the end of the live stream, and I just about lost my crap when this thing was revealed, because I've been waiting for this for Origin. As soon as they did the Char version, I was waiting for a green one. They always seem to do them kind of hand in hand, like the Mark II and the Mark II Titans. I waited and waited and waited, and 2 years later, we finally have one, and it looks frickin' awesome. So technically, this version of the Zaku 2 is called the Zaku Curved Sections 2. It's a little sleeker looking. And now if we compare that to these other pictures I have of him, you'll notice that he's now in his Zaku 2 C5 form. So you get this extra guard that goes on his forearm. And then if we come around here to the back, his backpack has a much more blocky look. It looks like it's the same gun that came with the Zaku 1 S-Type, so I'm really happy to see that here. That gives me an excuse to get that gun without having to buy a kit that's 99% similar to something I already have. And finally, there was one accessory that they didn't show with him at the Hobby Expo, and I thought he wasn't going to come with it, but it turns out he is coming with it. The freaking sniper rifle that the Char Zaku 2 had that was super big and super awesome, and I loved so much. Yeah, we have a basic grunt Zaku with that rifle. Just imagine how much damage Zeon could have done if these were a standard issue weapon in the 1 Year War. And anyways, here we can see all the parts you get with this kit, all the accessories. You got the belt feed gun, the bazooka, the extra ammo for the bazooka, the rifle, the bazooka mount, the 2 versions of the Heat Hawk, the extra arm piece, and I guess he also has an extra backpack, but they're not showing that off here. Basically, he has a bunch of different option parts. You can kind of just kit this thing out however you like. I'm really looking forward to this. I actually haven't been this excited for an Origin kit in quite a while, so I am definitely going to be picking this guy up when he comes out. I believe he's also coming out in August as well, since that's when most of these kits are coming out, I believe. Actually, no, I take that back. He's coming out in September, so quite a wait for this kit, unfortunately. However, I am still going to def on. And while we're talking release dates, I'm actually going to run down the release dates of all the stuff we've already seen, just in case I didn't mention them in the live stream, which is very likely since I don't think I actually mentioned any of these in the live stream. So, in July, we will be getting the Afrit Schneid, the China Guy, the Ninpulse Gundam, the Hamma Hamma, the Astaroth Renascimento, the Ninpulse Beam Effect parts, the Jigen Type D camouflage version, and the Master Grade XN Riser. And just for the record, both the Master Grade XN Riser and the Jigen Type D camouflage version will be premium Bandai releases. And then in August, we will be getting the Hyper Gyanko, the premium Bandai Messiah Custom Zaku 2 High Mobility Type, the premium Bandai Casfalls Gundam version 3.0, the Real Grade Unicorn Gundam, the premium Bandai Hammurabi Suban, the High Grade Universal Century Blue Destiny Unit 1, and the mega-sized Unicorn Gundam. And then later on in September, we will be getting the Master Grade Double Zeta Gundam Ver-Ka, the high-resolution model Wing Zero Custom, the high-grade The Origin Zaku 2 Type C/C5, and then finally in October, we will be getting the Gundam Local Type North American Dispatch Colors. So all in all, it looks like we have a pretty awesome, really hyped for that Zaku 2, but there is still some other cool stuff coming out like the Afrit Schneid that I'm definitely going to pick up. Now, we haven't seen everything we're going to see from Shizuoka because they did say they were going to show off some more MSD stuff, so all we've really seen so far are that Gundam Local Type recolor and the mass production color Zaku 2, so hopefully they'll have some more cool stuff to show us over the weekend. So, of course, if you want to stay up to date on all that, be sure you subscribe for more Gunpla news and reviews, and if you enjoyed this video, as always, don't forget to leave a like. And finally, I'm your host, Second Soundwave, and I'll see you next time. Take care, guys.